about 5, 6, 7 years old. And he would go on the peddling wagon with his daddy, and he would tell people about the herbs. And then, of course, later on in years, Duke University found out about Tommy, and he worked with them for about 6 to 7 years, and they documented all of his knowledge basically on all the plants. He was featured on the front page of the Wall Street Journal in July of '84. He has been featured in PM Magazine, Portrait of America that Turner Broadcasting does. He has been interviewed by all the major TV stations in Alabama, all the major newspapers, also the local newspapers, the small newspapers, and several stations and papers outside of the state of Alabama. Also, he has spoke at many colleges and clubs and businesses that asked him to come and speak. And he's really a delight to hear, because you won't ever meet or hear anybody else like him in your lifetime, because Tommy is one of a kind. They threw away the carbon when they made him. And I know you're going to really enjoy him, so give him a big hand.
Bless her heart, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that girl. I had a heart attack in 1984 and a 5 bypass. And so there wasn't nothing to do, but she don't bring me home and the family, and she nursed me back. And you were talking about a nurse now, boy, she didn't miss nothing. She put me through that fine thing. I wouldn't have ever made it. That's the reason I'm here, on account of her. If it hadn't been for her, I wouldn't be here. Because I wouldn't have done what I had to do, but like I should have had to. Then I had a seizure and had me back there. But anyway, we're so proud that we could be with her in her business, and she's got a wonderful business. And brother, she didn't know what a nerve man was 7 years ago, but she knows now. But anyway, folks, we appreciate having an opportunity to speak to you here about the natural herbs in the field. And now we're going to start off here with one that we call it milkweed, but a lot of people call it wild lettuce. It can be eaten raw. Some people eat it as a tossed salad, and some people cooks it, and some people takes it in a capsule or makes a tea out of it. But of course, we wouldn't recommend that you make a tea. It's better to take it in a capsule. But if you're going to make a tea, that much there will make a good pint of tea. And you want to take a teaspoonful of it as often as you need. If it didn't pacify your nerves, you just take another teaspoonful, and therefore you wouldn't take enough to bother you. But if you take too much of it, it puts you to sleep. You might not wake up. So therefore, we recommend that you take it in the capsule, because it's already measured out. But anyhow, it's a good tonic, and it makes good greens. And now this one here is what we call primrose, evening primrose. This one is the one that runs on the ground, and this is the one that stands up high and has beautiful pink and yellow flowers in the fall of the year. You see it all along the highways and byways and out in the field. And it's what they make the vitamins out of, the seeds of this plant. And over in Europe, especially in Russia and China and places like that, where they do all that there exercising and everything, this gives them 100% more energy. And by the way, 6 or 7 months ago, why they sold you 100 of the capsules for $12. Now they just sell you 50 for 12. It's getting so famous that the price has done jumped up twice what it was back 6 or 8 months ago. And it's a beautiful plant. It grows all around my house. I got this right in the yard. Anyway, it's a beautiful plant. Now this one here is a pretty sad sample there. That looks like poor little Liz Taylor had been out all night with Burt Reynolds. But anyway, this here is a persimmon tree, what I brought it out for. And the persimmon tree is a wonderful medicine, the bark off of the tree or the bark off of the root. The bark off of the root is one of the finest things in the world for stomach trouble. The trouble of it is, it's funny, it's black, just as black as that bottle there, but the heck of it is, it's sweet. It's not sour or anything like that. But the ulcerated stomach and many other things like that, I talked to a doctor over this side of Chattanooga, and she said that the inner bark of that root was the finest thing in the world for indigestion, ulcerated stomach, and all that kind of stuff. It didn't have no after effect, didn't have no bitter taste, or nothing. But I've never used it myself, but I have used the bark off the tree. Now this one here is what we call sarvisberry, and it's a wild plant, but we cultivate it. The berries makes the finest pie in the world. It tastes like a cherry pie, and they're good to eat raw, and the leaves and the bark on the tree can be used like the peach tree leaves, good for the nerves and put you to sleep and things like that. It's really a wonderful plant. And this one here is an Indian quinine. This is the dogwood, we call it. And so the Indians use this in the place of imported quinine. And I understand during the Civil War that the northern people stopped the quinine from coming over. And there was just quite a few of the soldiers was dying with malarial fever because they couldn't get the quinine. Well, there was a druggist in New Orleans, Louisiana, and one over in Virginia, and they had people to pick these berries off of this plant, and they roasted them in the stove or somewhere, and ground them up and made quinine. And by gosh, they just saved thousands of the fellas on the town. It wasn't respected as an import, but it still took the place of the quinine. And the reason I'm saying I ought to talk is because now the Nature Sunshine people has got the CA in a capsule that does away with the cramp in your legs and arms. But most of the time the doctor will put you on quinine capsule. Well, the trouble of it is some people can't take quinine. I can take it all day long. It's going to bother me. But anyone that's got a high blood pressure and things like that, they have to leave it off. But you take, if the doctor gives you one quinine capsule at a dose, you take just a teacup half full of the tea made out of this plant, and it does the same thing, no after effect. And if it gives you 2 capsules, you take a teacup full of the tea, and it does the same thing. So we bring it along in case some people need to try, and it won't no harm in it whatever. Now this one here is what we call the broadleaf plantain. The people that used to have hogs and things knows how it grows around the hog pen and grows around the doorsteps and other places. And it's one of the finest medicine. You can cook the leaves like that, like collard or turnip greens, and season it real good. Better to season it with good fat meat. But anyway, season it real good and it gives a real good eating. But anyway, for poison ivy, if you feel the poison ivy just burning your hands or your body, well, you just rub these leaves over it and it stops it. It's got chlorophyll in it, you see, and that kills it. But if it's done broke out, just make a tea and moisture it, and it's just all healed. And we have lots of people that tells us that some of them had, the doctor told them they had blood poison. Well, they'd make a poultice out of this, and the blood poison would all go away. And so the Duke University loaned me to a hospital in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, about 4 years ago. And so I had as many herbs there as I've got now. Well, Dr. Philpotts from Duke went with me. Well, I had herbs, and the only plant that this doctor knew, he was a herb doctor, but the only one he knew was this. And Dr. Philpotts says, Doc, you mean to tell me that you're a nerve man and you don't know what that one? He said, now wait a minute here, Doc. He said, Tommy lives in the woods. He said, I live in Peking. He said, well, I can't get out there and get no herbs. But he says, now, this plantain, he said, we use it for everything that ails in China. He said, it's one of the finest medicines that grows. And he says, a psyllium seed is not a thing in the world but plantain seed, a different variety. And so he said, we use this for internal, external nocturnal. Of course, it's 4 different varieties. I don't have the others here with me. But there's one that's got fuzzy leaves on it. We call that the velvet plantain. And then there's one got the leaves comes up like this. We call it the English plantain or the last plantain. And then there's another white one that the midwives used to use years ago for when the baby was, before it was born, they'd give them the tea and it helped the mother. And so therefore there's 4 that's usual. But I just have the one here. But anyway, it makes a good cough remedy. Just cook it like turnip greens and then sweeten the juice and you've got a fine cough remedy. And it's good for rheumatism and all that kind of thing. It's really a wonderful plant. Now this one is the famous chickweed. This is what's made a lot of the companies rich and made a lot of people poor. And by golly, it's a wonderful plant. It takes the weight off, and you don't even feel bad. You don't have to die or anything. Just take it, eat it raw, eat it cooked, take it in a capsule. Just so you take it. Just like my brother used to say, didn't care what you called him, just so you called him 3 times a day. And so all you have to do is to take this and lose weight. And it's fine for the eyesight. It's good for any kind of swelling feet, hands, and all that kind of stuff. After I had my bypass, my ankle swelled up, and figured a pretty good sized headache. Well, the doctor told me, said, you just got to live with that, so there's nothing you can do. I said, you think so, Doc? And he said, yeah. I said, when you want me to come back? He said, about a month. I just went by Miss James' herb shop, got me a capsule, chickweed capsule. I went to taking them, and about 2 weeks, I didn't have that all around. Well, it took another 2 weeks and went back. Of course, it always had me pull on my shoes and socks in his office, you know. And when he come in there and he looked at me, he had his buddy with him. He said, hey, what in the world did you do? This buddy said, let's ask him. Well, he said, Tom, what did you do? I said, well, you fellows went to college. I said, I'm a hillbilly. I said, I went to the woods. I said, I'm taking chickweed capsule. This doctor said, did they do that? I said, well, there wasn't nothing else done it. But I said, Doc, don't get so excited. I haven't took none for about 2 weeks. He says, you haven't? Well, don't even offer it. My ankle don't even offer to swell, you know. But anyway, I don't wear no glasses. And like I know, when I read a newspaper or a Bible or any kind of most any magazine, but the fine print on an insurance policy or something like that, when I get to where I can't read that and I want to read it, I'll either take the capsule to read this raw. And it makes eyesight back. Really good for it. But anyway, it's a fine thing, and Dr. Jane Philpotts told me that it was the only plant that grew everywhere in the world. She says it don't make no difference where it's at. The chickweed grows there. And says you're not going to get lost. She knew I wasn't because we roamed all over the hills up there in Virginia, and in North Carolina, and then down home over there on the mountain. But she said if you do, she said you just eat the chickweed and get back to where something else that's got all the minerals in it that you need. But anyway, it's really a wonderful plant, and it grows in everybody's yard, and it grows under the floor and everywhere else. Now this one here is a wild rose, and the reason we brought it around, we're making Japan rich, buying the cars and the rose hips, by golly. But this here is a plant that makes the rose hips. This is a wild rose, and so the bloom all fell off on here. But anyway, it has just worlds of little apples on there, you know, and you can take them and they've got the same vitamin C in them that the one that comes from Japan. And so it's right there at home. But anyhow, it's really a wonderful plant. Now, this one is what we call prickly ash. And this plant is really a wonderful plant. It won't cure rheumatism, but it sure will make you think you're getting well. You make a tea out of the roots or the bark or the berries, and it's also called devil's walking stick. You'll be going through the woods at it before you turn it loose. It's got spurs all up and down it. And you peel the bark off though, or use the roots, and for rheumatism, toothache, it's called toothache tree. You just kill the toothache just like that doctor giving you a shot. Well, one late man come to see me one day. He wanted me to show him what the red shank was. Well, it's in the winter time, and I said, well, partner, if you got time, we'll drive about 15 minutes where we can get the red root. I'll show it to you. And his daughter was with him, and boy, she has a toothache little boy. And I said, well, lady, where we're going to get this red root? If the tree's not gone, I said, I haven't been there in 40 years. But I said, if the tree hadn't moved or died, I'll get some bark off of it and you chew it. And I said, you won't know it. Well, by golly, one over there is on the railroad track, side of the railroad bank. And that doggone tree was there. It grew the whole bunch on that 40 years. And I peeled on from the bark and told the lady, I said, put a piece of that in your mouth. And gosh, about 5 minutes, she said, oh, I don't have much to do now. I said, it's all gone. Said, it's just numb with Joe. And the lady come to my place not long ago, and she said her husband had some teeth pulled. And my gosh, his jaw swelled up. Oh, she said, Mama said, he's just nearly crazy. And I said, just wait a minute, ma'am. I said, I'll send him some turkey ash for him. I said, you make him a pot of tea and let him hold it in his mouth just as hot as he can bear. And I said, he'll break that loose to away with it. Well, the next time she was there, she said, my husband said to hook your neck. So that 15 minutes, that thing rolled on, and said that corruption and everything come out, you know, said he felt like a brand new man. But anyway, it's a wonderful thing for the rheumatism, and also for the toothache and the earache. You can fry it in grease. We recommend that you use sunflower oil, but of course you can use any kind of other oil. And fry it in grease till it starts popping like popcorn. And then take the bark out and put that in your ear. It just eases the earache, just kills the graveyard choke. Now, this one here, my mother called this tongue grass, but the Indians called it old man's pepper, and some people called it pepper grass. And so when it's small, young, it makes good green. But you can't use it like that, but it makes the finest hair towel in the world. You can boil that in about a quart of water and wash your hair in it. You can have it any way you want to. It takes the dandruff out and all that kind of stuff. It's just wonderful what it will do. But the Indians call it old man's pepper. It's got a peppery taste. And now this one here is a plum that'll be getting ripe in next month. And the bark off this plum tree makes an awful good cough remedy. It's also good for cirrhosis of the liver and things like that. Just make a good strong tea out of it, so you can use the leaves too if you wish to. It's a plum that's going to get ripe soon. They're looking pretty good. Looks like they're going to be a good crop of them. Now this one here is the garden sage. And the garden sage is a wonderful medicine, and it's also makes the best sausage, of course, in the world. But anyway, it makes a wonderful, oh boy, what a hair tonic it does make. Make a good strong tea out of it and wash your hair in it. And if you can't handle it, or you can really handle it after you wash it in that tea. And it takes out the dander, and it takes the color. It don't color your hair. It back then, since I've been gray ever since I was 16, but my hair was brown. And so I can wash my hair, we'll say 4 times a month with this, had it cut short, my hair will come back brown, because it'll come back gray. And it just dies, and it comes back just exactly like it was, the same color. But anyway, it's a wonderful, there's a farm over in France that makes a hair tonic, and they guarantee it to go hair on the doorknob. But the trouble of it is they can't sell the doorknob with hair on it. It don't work too good. But what they're talking about is fellas like myself that's a getting bald, you know, and you can rub it in and it won't be too long till the hair will start coming back. It's really a wonderful plant to have. And now this one here, we don't know whether this works or not. We have plenty of people that handle herbs that tells us that it does. this is what's known as flea bane, and it grows everywhere. A lady told me before we spoke just a while ago, she wanted to know where can I get that. I said, lady, now I don't know whether it grows around your place or not, but I said, it just takes my place, garden and everywhere else. I said, they say though, that where the fleas is on the dogs or anywhere the fleas is, you throw this around and they'll leave. I don't know whether it kills them or not, but anyway, they get up and leave. So if you get shut up, you don't care what they go or stay, you know. But anyway, I said, now I'm not going to tell you they do work, but they say it do. And so that's the only thing that I could tell, because they've actually been said, I don't have no dogs and cats. Well, I got some cats, but they don't stay at home much. And I don't kill who pleases. It's up to them. But anyway, now this one is a catnip. And folks my age, and of course there's not many people my age, but anyway, folks that have been around as long as I have, it wouldn't maybe be here if it wasn't for this catnip. Now the catnip used to be in every home. They'd have one back on the southern side of the house where the fleas wouldn't kill it too bad, and you go out there and get it anytime you wanted it. But now, Miss James and all these people that sells the Nature Sunshine products, they really push the catnip. They take it in the place of an aspirin. They don't have the after effect and all that kind of thing. It eases the headache better than an aspirin. And it's good for any kind of a nerve. And for nerves, a teacup full of it, will just make you want to sleep. You know, it's just really wonderful what the catnip will do. We can't talk, we can talk a half hour on what the catnip would do. But anyway, and now this is a yard. It grows in all old homes used to have it. Some of them has it now. But this one is white. It has a white bloom. Then some of them has a purple bloom, some of them red. It's different blooms. But anyway, it's one of the finest medicines at all for any kind of bad cold, and the grip, influenza, and coughs and colds and all kinds of things like that. This is just a small part of it. It gets up this high, maybe gets that big around. But where I got this one, that's as tall as it got. But you use the leaves of the whole plant. It's really a wonderful thing to use. Now this one is what we call winter huckleberry. It grows in most all woods, and you can't eat the berries too well till the frost falls on them. But when the frost falls on them, they taste real good. Some people call them sugar berries. But anyway, for sugar diabetes and high blood pressure and prostate gland trouble, you drink this tea, something like 2 or 3 teacupfuls of it a day, and it's a sight on earth what it will do for you. And now you get the P14 in a capsule, which has 13 other groups with it. And what it does is proud of this work. It really people that's been down with diabetes. One fellow that knows me, of course, all his life, he come to me and he says, Tommy, said I've got high blood and sugar, and said the doctor can't get it down. What can I do? I said, Powers, come in here. I said, I just got one package of P14. And I said, I'm not going to buy any more. I said, I'll just ship it out and go to the shop and get it and ship it then. But I said, you're going to have to pay me for this. I want you to take it home and take it. Don't set it up on the shelf. He said, well, man, knowing you like I do, here's some money. Well, about a week after that, I started walking over the center, got up to the railroad bridge. They drove up in his pickup truck, picked me up. He said, man, he said, I'm telling you right now, so that P14 beats anything I ever saw. Said, I went back to Dr. Bobo in Gadsden, and he said, man, what in the world have you been doing? He said, well, Doctor, you ever hear Tommy Bass? He said, no, well, this man's awful bad at first. He cursed, he said, well, I thought everybody in the country knew Tommy Bass. He said, well, I haven't ever heard of him. But said, if my blood pressure and sugar gets in the shape George was, said, I sure will look him up. So his blood pressure is down, his sugar too, and just one bottle, putting back on the road. So therefore, it's really wonderful what this will do with the 13 other herbs. You really have got something. Now this one here is what we call goosegrass. They say the geese goes crazy about it. Of course the chickens goes crazy about this. They'll lay more eggs on this chickweed than they will any kind of food that you can get buy it in the store. They just lay up a storm, and they'll eat just everything they can get a hold of. But this goosegrass now makes anyone that's overweight, it takes the weight off just like pouring water through a funnel. And it don't taste bad. It's got a good taste, and but of course you add sugar or honey or anything else, and it sticks to your clothing. It'll stick to your clothing like that. So you can't worry about it getting poisoned because it's actually the goosegrass, and it's known as cleaver in the herb books and all other places. It's known as cleaver. I've sold thousands of pounds of it to a man who used to be down in Prairie Point, Mississippi. He shipped it to Germany. Now this one is the blackberry. And now a lot of folks wants to know why that I bring the blackberry on a toll. Well, I get calls all times of the night. Here lately I take my phone off the hook. But generally speaking, when I used to leave it on, I get calls from all parts of the country, and some folks say, hey, I've got a patient here that's got diabetes, and the doctor can't do him no good. What in the world can I do? I said, well, I could tell you a dozen different things that you could step out in the woods and get, and would cure. But I said, you wouldn't know what it is. I said, you know what the blackberry is that you make pies out of? Oh, yeah. Well, I said, get out there and dig enough to fill a teacup of cut up herbs, wash them, cook them in a quart of water, and strain it, put it in the refrigerator, and every time the patient is called to go to the bathroom, give them a tablespoonful all the time. And I said, you won't have to give it to them but just a few times. And if this don't work, you call me back. My gosh, nobody hasn't called me back because it actually worked. They used to have it in the drugstore. You go in and buy it. But now I don't think they have it. But just any of the blackberry or the dewberry roots is just wonderful. And for prostrate gland trouble, it's just wonderful for it. It's astringent, and it grows these things, you know. It's really wonderful. Now this one here is one a lot of people. I was over sitting with a patient one night in a hospital. And this lady said, they tell me you're a nerve man. I said, well, ma'am, I never made a man, but I do know a little about herbs. Well, she said, oh, I know about it. Back when I was a girl, said me and the other girls would go in the woods and hunt this year what we call heartbeat. They said we'd get them little pigs down there and see which one get the most of, and it played that way, you know. And I said, well, it's a good medicine. I said, the Indians claimed it was a wonderful medicine for the heart because it looks like the heart. And so it makes an awful good cough syrup, especially for children. It's not harsh, you see, and it makes it awful good tasting. It tastes like ginger. And of course, I figure that there's not no better tonic or stimulate than ginger, the actual ginger. I'm going to order me some of the plants and grow my own. But anyway, it's sour stomach and all that kind of thing. It stimulates, you know. Now this one here is the bone set. And the bone set is the Indian remedy. And as Will Rogers always said, his people didn't come on the Mayflower, they met it. Well, this plant met the Mayflower. It's an American plant. Now the other, this is known as Indian sage, but the sage that we use comes from most part. But this one met the Mayflower, and therefore they claim, and we know, that it's one of the finest herbs in the world for the flu, for any kind of influenza, coughs and colds. It'll make you sweat, by gosh, whether you want to or not. But anyhow, it puts you back on the road again. Where it got the name bone set, we understand, was the Indians, when they broke the bone, well, they take this and make, of course, the Indian man didn't work, the women had to do it, but they'd make a strong tea, and they'd soak the dairy in it, and by gosh, it would heat it back. Well, now